This is going to be a relatively short video on a minor point that may come up on your SAT, and it has to do with the lengths of sides of triangles and the permissible lengths of sides of triangles. This is what I mean. Let's say we've got a triangle like this. Oh my gosh, that's not straight. Like that. Let's say we're told that the sides are 4 and 11. And the question wants to know what are the possible lengths of side X, whatever. Well, this is not a right triangle, so you can't do the Pythagorean theorem. Now the question is, what can X be? Well, if we think about a triangle let me give you the answer first, and then we'll talk about why that is the case. First things first is this side cannot be greater than the sum of these two sides. Okay? So it can't be greater than 15. So it's got to be less than 15. So X has got to be less than 15. And it's got to be greater than the difference of the two sides. So it's got to be greater than 7. So this is just thing to remember is that for any third side, it's got to be less than the sum and greater than the difference. And why is that? Well, let's find out. This is something that they might test you on. So let me give you the kind of intuitive reason why this is the case. Let's look at a triangle. How about this? Let's just do the 3, 4, 5 triangle. That will make things easy. Come on. 3, 4, 5. Now note this is 90 degrees. Now this side right here, this would be our X, right? Our X. This is 5 in this case, and when it's in the 90-degree spot. What happens as we continually open up this angle to become more obtuse? Well, as that happens, this side becomes bigger, right? Maybe when it's like this is 3, this is 4, and this is 6, right? We continually open it up. Now, when is the breaking point? Well, think about what happens when we reach the point in which this is 3, this is 4, and then this is 7. Think about that as we're stretching this out, stretching this out, stretching this out. Eventually this side right here is going to reach 7. What's going to happen? Well, the triangle is going to collapse, right? Because if you laid out this side here is 3 and here is 4, and you laid out another line here, 7, there's no way you can fit this 7 line in between these two to form an angle, right? Because look, this is length 7. And the length of 7 is 180 degrees. There's no angle. As soon as you tick up this mark here, like this a little bit, this is no longer 7. So as soon as it becomes 7, the triangle falls apart. So that is why it can't be greater than the sum of the sides. So in this case, this side cannot be greater than 7. Can't be equal to it either. Which is why here, X has got to be, for this example, it's got to be greater, it cannot be bigger than 15, which is the sum of these sides. Here, it can't be bigger than 7. What about in the opposite case? Well, think again to this case in 90 degrees. Now let's go in the opposite direction. Let's shrink this triangle, right? As we shrink it, as we move this side down like this is going to get smaller. So maybe eventually we're going to have something like this, right? 3, 4, and, 4. All right? So what happens, though, as we shrink it further and further and further? Eventually it's going to get to a point where this angle is 0 between these two sides, right? This is 0 degrees. So this becomes 3, and this whole thing is 4. What's left over but 1, right? This 1 cannot hold the triangle together because 3 plus 1 is 4. So if you had a triangle like this, let me just do it this way, 3, 1, and 4. I can't complete this triangle and have this angle be anything other than 0. As soon as I connect this side to this, it's just going to fall out to 3 and 1 and 4. It's just going to be 2 line segments. There's no way I can connect them to make a triangle. I can't bend these little crinks in here to make the lines match up to form a triangle. So that is why the side that you are missing must be bigger than the difference of the two sides. 4 minus 3 is 1, right? It's got to be bigger than this 1. In this case, it's got to be bigger than 11 minus 4 is 7. So that's the intuitive justification for this. If that's confusing, don't worry about it. Just remember that the third side has got to be less than the sum and greater than the difference of the other two sides.